Is this the last big college football game in the regular season ever?
Not ever. Just until, Saturday afternoon. It's rivalry week, so there's a lot going on.
But with the expansion, no game will ever matter. This game will eliminate someone from the playoffs, right?
Yeah, this game will kind of decide if it's Michigan or Ohio State, and that's given that they can beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. But this isn't people think that expansion in college football is going to ruin rivalries, and it is going to ruin some. Bedlam's not going to be the same. The Apple Cup's not going to be the same. But Michigan, Ohio State will always survive, and you're going to start getting new, interesting ones where USC, Ohio State could be a fun rivalry we come to know and love. It's not ever going to die. Teams are still going to hate each other a lot.
There have been 2 different weeks on this college football calendar where I'm sure you're looking at the schedule and you're wondering aloud, where are we going to go? There really isn't a great marquee game here. All that stuff goes out the window next year. Have you seen these schedules, these marquee matchups? And I understand Billy's point of, look, we essentially have it's being built up as a playoff elimination game here between Michigan and Ohio State.
That's what it is, Mike.
When you expand, but when you expand the playoff, you're going to have many more games that feel like elimination games. You're tripling the amount of teams that can go in there.
But you're going to have many more games that also feel like they don't matter that much.
I don't think
you can
so.
fall from 4 to 12 and still get in.
No, for instance, this game right here, both of these teams will still make the playoff next year.
Which is why this game won't feel as big.
But Billy, what happens when that team falls from 4 to 12? You don't think that they're going to have a big football game when they're at 12?
But Mike, it does take some sting off of these games. It does. It takes some sting off the regular season. College football, I've said forever, has it exactly right. The regular season, it means something because you have de facto playoff games just about every week.
I know I'm in the minority. I know people think 4 is the right number. I know people felt some kind of way about NIL, and I came out limped out with the take that I think it actually means a little bit more parity, and we're starting to see the seeds of that. I actually think an expanded playoff with these mega conferences is going to be amazing for the game. More teams actually thinking that they have a chance. More teams that have 2 losses that are playing like their season's on the line, where now it feels like, depending on where you are and what conference you reside in, we're talking about FSU, who's had a magical season, probably not making the college football playoff just on account of their quarterback being out. That's what the margin is right now. It's hard to have a season as good as FSU is having right now, to not have a reward to be able to play for it, it kind of feels dumb.
I understand what Billy is saying, though. I don't know with all the change that is coming, because I can obviously make the argument that college football is doing everything right, because what Saturdays feel like all over this country, where I'm watching a South Carolina game and I can't believe the atmosphere in that stadium, because it feels so much bigger than anything I'm even watching on Sunday between a 3-7 team. Just the energy of it, you can feel those people have regional pride. They have their identity tied up in that stuff. And what happens at night in these college cities feels a little bit different. So I'm not, the money grab has worked for everybody, and it's created more and more interest. But I don't know if we're going to have something that feels like this, which is the standard of the best seasons, and with 2 11-0 teams galloping at each other in a conference, in a rivalry, is this the best season ever, or are we going to end it with losing to our rival? I don't know if we're going to see a lot of that going forward. It's just going to be different. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It can indeed be better, but I don't know if it's going to look exactly like it feels in this region of the country where these 2 teams, everybody is wondering, can they actually play with Georgia, or is this again the same thing of Michigan is going to try to out-muscle you, and then they're going to get to a playoff game and they're going to be Wisconsin in disguise because they shouldn't be there? Everybody is wondering, but now they get to prove it against each other. And Lucy's been telling me all season she doesn't believe Ohio State can beat Michigan. And I'm like, but have you not watched this game in recent years? Michigan doesn't win these games.
But next year it won't matter, to Billy's point, though.
It will.
It won't matter. Both teams will get in.
It will. It
matters.
What are you doing where you're making them as good?
Much.
Their conference is getting so much better.
It matters so much. Like the idea that next year, just because Michigan adds Washington to the schedule and maybe they get an extra loss, means that they don't hate Ohio State as much. Like the hatred and the rivalry in college football is stronger than I think anywhere else. This game means everything. Like you ask Ohio State players, would you rather go like 11-1 with a loss to Michigan or 1-11 and beat them? Like you're gonna get both like responses. It's not going to die. It's going to get a little weirder in just the regular season before that. But these rivalries that have stood the test of time, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, they will stay and they will be, as strong and powerful as ever.
If you had a 12-team playoff, a game that happened last week that was a top 25 matchup, Kansas State, Kansas. We didn't talk about that all week. That's a game that has playoff stakes.
Yeah, but Mike, I'm not sitting there saying one of those teams, regardless of who wins, can win the national championship.
The game will always mean something to Ohio State and Michigan, right? But will it mean something to me next year if it's not, with playoffs on the line? Like I don't know.
I think it will if the team that you support is number 17 in the nation and you want one of them to fall down. I just think way more teams. I think SI did a study on all the programs that would have made an expanded playoff field. And there's something like maybe 30 that wouldn't have been in it in all of Division I. Like it was a ridiculous number. Miami would have made it multiple times. Think about how we talk about Miami's football program over these last few years. They would have made it multiple times in this century to the college football playoff. Kansas would have made it multiple times to the college football playoff had it been expanded over the course of these 20 years. And while it's easy to get swept up in the romanticism of this feels like a juggernaut battle, this feels like an elimination game, this is incredible, Ohio State, Michigan, this is college football, we forget about the year's worth of shows where we're arguing about Baylor not having a shot to play for the national title or UCF not having a shot to play for the national title. I think this is great for the game.
Maybe it would have been. Maybe we're going to a worse system if Miami would have made it multiple times.
I think
Kansas.
When the playoffs expanded, I think we learned Oregon can't actually win the national championship ever.
12 is too many. We're in a world right now where Penn State would make the playoff, and we know that's a problem. We can't let Penn State into the playoff. That's where we have to draw the line.
But I understand your point because Penn State plays Michigan State, and they're 12th in the country right now. So they would have to win that game to get in.
Billy,
no one thinks Penn State's going to win a national championship if they do get in.
I'll tell you what just happened to Billy, though. Billy just realized, never mind who's going to win it. Clearly, Bo Nix is going to win the national
Oregon's
championship.
going to win now just because I said they can never win. They will win the national championship this year.
Blowing everyone out.
He regretted it as soon as he said it.
As soon as it left my lips, I said, come back.
Let's play for the people Jim Harbaugh's sound of him being weird because that's the other element we have in this game that you might want to get more used to, but this game generally doesn't have also the whole spying controversy that has, Connor Stallions. Basically, Michigan didn't get the bump past Ohio State the last couple of years until they started allegedly cheating, correct? Like those two things line up together, so you've got that as well. And here's Harbaugh leaning into it all.
Locker rooms. A lot like my mom's bathing suits. Like to see them in one piece.
His lenses are so thick. How can he see?
He went from 0 to blind real quick, right? I do not remember him being that blind for a long time. When he was in San Francisco, he did not look like that. What happened to his vision?
Well, he's been thinking about his mother in bathing suits, which is what that sound was about.
One piece. Yeah.
Yes. I like my locker rooms like I want. Anyone else think that's unusual what he did there?
It is unusual, but that's what he normally does in press conferences. So that is actually him being normal.
Yeah.
That clip cut off at the beginning, he referenced Ted Lasso. So he knew that he was doing a little play on Ted Lasso and that stuff. Jim Harbaugh wrote that down a few weeks ago and said, this is really good.
It's going to kill.
He was sitting on it?
Yeah, I'm going to find a way to use it. And he did.
He's a weirdo.
Super weird.
And this is the game that this entire region lives for because, Stugotz, to have it be your hated rivals, this has been a month of buildup on Ohio State is trying to run Jim Harbaugh out of that job. Everybody meeting, these commissioners getting together and trying to, punish Michigan and enjoying the punishment of Michigan. This is something you'd find at your local Optimist League with a kids team that was doing too well and people checking birth certificates. They're trying to run Jim Harbaugh out of that job.
What happens if he shows up?
Maybe he's allowed in the stands.
In a disguise.
Student
That'd be
section.
hilarious.
Bobby
I could see him
Valentine.
doing it.
Yeah.
So
that would be
good.
so
Oh my
great.
God! What if
Yes.
he dresses like Connor Stallions and he's just
It's
standing
good.
right
on
behind?
Ohio State sideline?
He should do all of that. What happens?
Who's the police that is going to escort
what are the
him out?
consequences? What are the consequences to Jim Harbaugh showing up in an actual disguise? Certainly, he'll get field access, right? He can get it. He must do this. Harbaugh, I'm demanding it of you. You want to make fun of the whole system and prove your innocence even though you're not innocent? Please show up in a disguise on the sidelines of that Ohio State game.
I love it. What the sport needs. In fact, people should be forced to attend these schools. They call it the golden generation for a reason.
Stugotz, I want to read something here based on what we were talking about yesterday, the conversation around Carissa Thompson. Somebody writes in, I love you, Dan, but come on. All the things to have issues with in sports, this is the thing. You're acting like she committed a crime.
Well, you care about journalism. You care about people doing their job and doing it correctly. You care about the information being accurate and not made up. So I understand why you would have the take you had yesterday, and people certainly understand why I had the take that I had yesterday.
But it's not even, my take isn't very strong on here or controversial. It's simply saying, hey, you should tell the truth. Like, as a reporter, I don't even think I'm arguing on behalf. I wasn't crushing Carissa Thompson. I'm just saying, like, making things up, that's not ever been okay. But when people come at me with some version of it's not the end of the world or she didn't commit a crime, I didn't say she did. I just said that truth matters wherever it is that you're getting information. Like how, I don't even know, we're about to talk to the author about the Fox controversy and the Dominion voting scandal. Brian Stelter is going to join us here in a little bit to talk about, the truth should matter. And so...
What about just not lying, though? It's not as, isn't there, there's a gray area in between
Chris, the place,
she's not lying.
The place that I don't think there's
Embellishing.
the place that I don't think there's a gray area is saying you talked to the coach when you did not talk to the coach. Like, I'm not arguing anything here that's controversial. I'm just drawing a line there saying, hey, you shouldn't do that. No, is sideline reporting that important? No. Are sports that important? No. Does this controversy, is it that important by itself? No. But the truth is important. Yes, I think it matters.
Yeah, but Dan, what she's doing or what she did is, hey, I've done enough of these to know I can't get access to the coach, can't find the coach. And I know you're going to say, go find the coach. Do your job.
Or tell us you didn't find the coach and report on something else.
Just throw it right back to the booth.
Stugotz, all I'm saying is you don't have to make it up.
Who does that?
Joe, I didn't talk to the coach, but I did have a hot dog during
Back
the
to
break.
you.
I mean, let's be more honest.
I approached Sean
Why go
Payton, but he
down
did
to
this
her?
weird thing with his hand as to shush me away.
Back to you,
up
Jim.
you.
Yes.
He walked by and said, just make something up.
He didn't meet his contractual obligation of being available in this partnership with the leagues that television has.
Said something about Moderna and his mom dying. I don't know.
That'd be great if coaches actually said to her, hey, no time. Just make something
got
up.
it. He played like you'll figure it out.
Well, yada, yada, yada.
Let's play Stugotz as there were more water and shower issues in Washington in the Giants-Washington game. We have really laughed over the last couple of decades about how poorly Daniel Snyder ran everything in that franchise. And apparently, it is not news to many that you're not always going to have a functioning shower situation. So you played an NFL game, that hurts. You got blood in some places. You want to wash off. You want to do so comfortably. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. You want to shower like human beings. But here from Thomahawk is Andrew Hawkins and Joe Thomas talking about this isn't even new.
There was a report this week about, I think it was the Commanders stadium that ran out of hot water, and it was a big deal. There was no hot water. I can't tell you how many damn games that we've played in the league where there was no hot water. What? It happens all the time. There's been times when there's been no water, period. We get back to the locker room, and they have clipped the water. There's nothing to take a shower. Or in a visitor locker room in the NFL, I forget what stadium. Maybe it was Oakland Stadium.
Yep.
But there was
Oakland for sure. Buffalo was horrible.
There's like 15 shower heads. So what 15 shower heads mean for 80 people taking a shower, and we have 10 minutes to do it, we literally This sounds crazy. We had to share showers at the same time.
Oh, no.
So what happens is, it sounds wild. This is like going to be a viral moment, but I'm telling you how it works. This is no bull. Joe can attest to this. There's one shower going. I stand on one side. Joe stands on the other. And as we're lathering away, one person gets in, they get out, the other person does, and you literally have to share the shower head at the same time. Joe, am I lying?
No, you're absolutely telling the truth. It was disgusting. It was one of those moments where you're like, this is what pro sports looks like?
It's
like, this is how I wash my children. When they're little, you turn the shower on, you get one rinsed, and then you get them soaped up as the other one's rinsing. But in Oakland, it's legit. Or in the old stadium, now nobody plays there anymore. I guess the baseball team's leaving now too, because apparently they hate the shower.
They hate sharing showers.
It's a Hall of Famer. Joe Thomas. I understand the Cleveland Browns didn't play a lot of winning football, but he was excellent at what he did.
Is that Joe's house?
Or is it a resort? God, I'm jealous.
That looks like a Key West resort.
I want to be him.
A lot. He travels a lot. I think he's moving to Germany too, and I don't think he's moved, just judging by that picture just yet.
It looked a bit like the Keys is what it looked like to me. There was a lot of ocean behind him. It might be Carolinas and golfing, though.
Hilton Head right there.
Is he in this country? Is he in this country for sure, Joe Thomas, with that backdrop? It is a beautiful backdrop. I don't think it's his
Mexico,
home, though.
Mexico,
it could be
apparently.
his house, though, Dan. It could be.
This was Mexico.
I mean, I think
he made a lot of money.
I know.
Man.
It's not money that I'm thinking of. I just, for some reason, think of Joe Thomas living on a property that has a tractor. I don't think of it being near water. I think that's where
Offensive lineman.
I think this is where Joe Thomas, not even vacations. It's not just offensive lineman. It's this particular offensive lineman. Didn't he go fishing the day he was drafted?
Yeah.
That
was before the NFL money hit.
Yeah, but here it looks like he just played 9, and I'm not certain if the 9 holes aren't in his backyard. I mean.
You think that looks like a resort? That is not his balcony. That is a balcony
It's
for
a small pool for a resort. I mean, big pool for a house.
Not really the point of the story.
We got to get to the bottom of this.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom.
That's too many columns for his own personal residence.
Put that back up.
All right,
Yeah,
call
look at the
Andrew
let's
Hawkins
count the
then.
columns.
Fine, do some reporting. Fine, or I'll throw
I'm gonna
it.
ask Joe.
You know what? I'll throw it to you, and you just make it up. Okay? Like in fact, you say you talked to
Been
Joe.
doing that for 20
yeah,
years,
You say
I mean.
you talk to Andrew or Joe. Get to the
No,
bottom.
as long as you don't say you talk to
Yeah,
Andrew or
in
Joe,
fact,
you're fine.
Let's close
Make
the
up whatever you
segment.
want.
Let's close the segment, Stugotz, with you getting the answer to this because you've texted both Joe Thomas and Andrew Hawkins. I want to get into Chris Cody's irrational fear of Tim Boyle.
Timmy
I
Boyle.
mean, it's a fear of the unknown. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of him. I just know what I know what I'm getting with Zach Wilson. And when you name
Right.
Tim Boyle the starter, it just throws that little smackling of doubt in my mind of, is there a Tim Boyle
What
game
is a
left?
smackling?
I don't know, man. Just roll with it. You know what I meant.
Is this the next Kurt Warner? Is this the next Brock Purdy? Right, I understand
It's
it.
just-
There's no film on Timmy Boyle.
I would have felt better if Zach Wilson was starting, is my only point. I still feel great, like on the spectrum here of how I feel, but I'm just Tim Boyle's. There's just mystery there.
There is no mystery there. He's terrible at quarterback, and I'll give you
All right.
some of the stats.
He was QB2 to Zach Wilson. I mean,
When he played at UConn, his
Who
touchdown.
was not QB1, by the way.
That is correct.
Yep.
When he played at UConn,
Listening.
one touchdown, 13 interceptions.
Ooh.
It's a bad program.
What was the schedule like?
When he played at Eastern Kentucky, 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions.
How did he get drafted?
A lot more touchdowns.
Yeah, much better.
In the
Upside.
NFL, he has 3 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. You're
Has he
simply
played that much?
Dan, be careful. We're marking this sound. What if Tim Boyle has the game?
no. This is what's happened. Now,
Tim Boyle has played enough snaps to throw that many interceptions.
evidently, I think I have that right.
I feel like he may have checked in at a Lions Thanksgiving game that I had checked
You
out.
don't believe he has played enough? No, wait a minute.
I'm shocked to learn he has that many interceptions because he's played that much
It's
football.
not because he's played that much football. It's because he throws a lot of interceptions.
Well, both are a surprise to me.
okay.
He's played 18 games since 2019.
He's had a full season sample. Where have these Tim Boyle games been?
Most of it was
The Boyle
2021 in
games.
Detroit. Of his 73 completions, 61 of them were in 2021 in Detroit, where his record was 0-3.
Put it on the poll. Is he a boil on the ass of NFL quarterbacking?
I've done some reporting
You're a writer.
on the Joe Thomas situation.
You're going to give us the report? I
Yeah.
thought Stugotz was going to give us the report.
You got it?
I got it.
All right, go.
Well, at the end of the segment.
Okay.
I want it as the dismount to the segment. How much time do I need to leave you at the end of the segment?
3 seconds.
Okay, let me get to more Boyle information because you fearing him is very...
Fear is, that's not what I said.
It's the unknown.
It's just, I would have felt more confident with Zach Wilson. That's it. It's just a little, he's playing for something. You know, this is his chance. He's thinking right now, this is a good defense I got. This is his moment for his entire... What is he thinking that right now?
He's
I
not
suck?
thinking
You think Tim Boyle's at his house right now? God, these guys are right. I suck.
He's
Yeah,
thinking,
probably.
Jesus,
It's
man, I
terrifying.
could have been shopping today, and now I got to play football.
No, he's thinking, this is my last chance, and I'm going to make the most of it.
The other option was Trevor Siemian.
Oh.
He's the second string. Zach moved to third.
Well,
by the
there
way.
I could see you fearing. There I could understand.
done something.
There I could understand because you have seen that person play football
Yep.
in a way that's not totally
But
incompetent.
you just said that I trust the people that see him every day. Whoever they're seeing at practice, they're putting Tim Boyle ahead of
That's
this
the
guy that
thing.
you just admitted I'd be
Yeah.
okay to be afraid
But
of.
was behind Zach Wilson.
I'm just
Those
saying, you
people.
just said I could fear Trevor Siemian, and this guy's ahead of Siemian. on
40 more than 40 possessions without a touchdown.
that. You have me now rooting for the Jets.
What? Oh,
Because
you
I
were
want
a
to be
Chargers
right.
fan.
I want to
What's
be right
happening
now.
Tim Boyle probably knows the offense better. Simeon came in midseason, and he's a Nathaniel Hackett guy because he was in Green Bay before.
So he knows that bad offense better?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, Garrett Wilson is not bad. He is
It
open.
was bad last week.
No, well, he wasn't. His quarterback's bad. He was not bad. He
I mean, they have
Couple drops.
pieces. We know that they have talent.
the part though that is funny about your general fear because that league is weird. That's the Friday game. I'm going to miss that. I'm going to forget that game. People are going to forget that game exists.
Impossible.
No, stop it.
That
The
game
Dolphins, Dan.
Sundays has got me.
Amazon's going to find a way to shove that game down your throat. Whether you're shopping for a toaster, whatever you're doing, you're going to know the game is on.
Boyle, you cannot fear this person, Chris
You
Cody.
see, you're taking my words and you're running with them.
Well, it's the DeVito
I said-
effect. It's the DeVito effect is all that's happened
Right.
here. It's just a sprinkling or a smackling, as you like to say, of the DeVito effect. You're afraid of a little Italian fingers. That's
Does
what
Tim
you're
Boyle
afraid
live
of.
with his family?
Mike was right. It's a timeshare in Mexico.
Wow.
A timeshare.
He fell for that?
He watched the presentation, putting his hand on his chin.
I heard John Oliver the other day, Stugotz, making fun of Apple Plus Television because Apple Plus Television is spending extraordinary amounts of money to put famous people in big, giant, epic projects that you're watching that don't seem to be getting very much traction anywhere. And I think John Oliver called it where celebrities go to hide. You could go and get a big paycheck. You can make something super, super glossy. But so far, Ted Lasso and, Michael J. Fox's documentary, some things have won some awards. But for whatever the reason is, Apple, with all the money in the world, all the competitive advantages, is producing good stuff, but isn't quite getting the traction that people think Apple Plus should get spending the way that they are. They are now doing a 10-part documentary
Right.
on the Patriots because they're going with glossy brands in sports, right? They're doing Magic Johnson, Steph Curry. They're finding whoever it is the big signature famous things are. And a 10-part, I imagine what that had to cost to get all of those people to agree and to have the NFL sanction, hey, we're going to tell you about the last 20 years. We're going to do it officially. We're going to do it with a new league partner on streaming. After Michael Jordan sets the standard and ESPN set the standard at the start of the pandemic, that if you're really resonating through this time in our sports landscape, you get 10 of these. Jerry Jones is getting isn't Jerry Jones getting a 10-parter or is it a 3-parter on Netflix? Like
3 for Jerry, I believe.
The people of this time are now telling their stories, and they're telling their stories in the biggest sport, the most popular sport, the sport that they built. As we make fun of Belichick running out of a house and Tom Brady's about to take whichever $375 million job he wants with ownership in the league and with the next stakes on what Messi is doing, partnering with Apple to bring you the future of what all this looks like. All of it, because I don't know what it looks like in 10, 15 years, but I can't imagine a scenario where Apple loses. Like they've got too much money to lose when they're one of the few things that exist that can even buy Disney to prevent itself from losing.
It actually looks like Jerry Jones is getting a 10-part documentary that's worth $50 million to Netflix. $50 million. Why do you think these things aren't working, like Apple Plus?
Well, it's not working well enough because we keep calling it Apple Plus. I know they've rebranded, but it's Apple TV.
It is.
And then you'll see an Apple TV Plus out there too, but
Right.
one thing that it isn't is Apple Plus anymore.
Okay.
Forgive me. It's still Apple, and you know what I'm generally talking about.
I know, that's why I didn't make the correction, but I mean, it goes in. I mean, it
Doesn't feel good, huh?
Helps prove the point.
I would have preferred it as a small smackling instead of a full-blown
Helps prove
spanking.
the point. My wife has actually been watching a lot of the Apple TV programming. I'd given a couple of things of theirs a try outside of the Ted Lasso phenomenon. I think it's fair to call that a phenomenon. She watched the morning show, and I'd watched a little bit, and I know that show kind of got off to a slow start, but there's huge stars there. It seems
The morning
well
show
done.
was good the first season and fell apart for me, and I didn't.
Really?
I
People-
usually follow those things through.
People tend to have a different reaction to that, which is like, what the hell is this first season? And then it gets stronger, but to each their own. She's watching this Brie Larson show that she is raving about. Blackbird was on there. I love Blackbird. I thought that was phenomenal.
Yes, it was good.
Yeah, but to your point, they have these massive stars doing big, ambitious projects with massive budgets, and they're not really generating the type of conversation that Ted Lasso did.
I'm just telling you that whenever I scroll through their offerings, what I am seeing, Stugotz, in size and scope, feels like Christopher Nolan all over the place. It feels like giant sprawling projects of, about space and the future and science fiction. I'm like, and all I see on my screen is not necessarily an interesting story. It's just money. All I see is like, oh my God, how much did all of this cost?
And that's just Jennifer Aniston's lighting.
But you've got no interest in 10 parts of Patriots?
I kind of saw Man in the Arena a little bit, and I lost interest with it. And I don't know if I had the type of attention span to give a second Patriots documentary a try, even though that one was more about Tom Brady. But come on, Tom Brady is the Patriots.
I have an appetite for 10 parts on the Patriots. Is it done in conjunction with the league? Is it being done with the league?
I just think all this stuff is done with the
Why are we
league.
green lighting 10-part things? How about we do like 1 or 2 parts, and if people like that, let's add other parts.
Dip a
Damn,
toe in the
Ezra
water?
Edelman
Yeah.
ruined, honestly, the watching experience for everyone.
Really,
And then you
like-
give the guy an Oscar, and you just embolden everyone to not have an editor and just make things drag on and on forever. Jesus.
Did things change with the Jordan doc? I don't understand. Like,
Well, he's saying
people
it's
like
Edelman.
the U documentary, and then they're like, we need more of this. Okay, sequel. That's the way these things used to work.
We had nothing else to do at that time. I mean,
But Billy is making it OJ, though. Billy is making it Edelman who did this.
That was a little
that's
long.
right, yeah.
The
8 parts.
The Jordan one was fine because, like you guys said, we had nothing else to do at the time, so that was fine. Like, we have nothing but time to sit around and watch. We can't even talk to friends, family members. We can't go outside. We can't breathe. We can't to wash our grocery bags and change our indoor clothes and our outdoor clothes. Like, that was a perfect time for 10-part anything. You know what I mean? We watched a thing about this crazy guy that was like a tiger person, and then we got involved in his world of tiger rivals, and it's really just like this criminal underworld of people who are acquiring tigers illegally, if
Yes,
you're really
right.
going to think
That's
about it,
correct.
and exotic animals. Then we had campaigns where we wanted to get this guy named Joe Exotic out of prison that he was in for maybe trying to murder his competitor, who may or may not have murdered her husband and buried her underneath her house.
That's a once-in-a-lifetime
And
story.
Doc Antle was like the sane one, and then he was on our show every day
Like
for
3 weeks.
and then got arrested for, of course, doing Doc Antle things.
We knew the risk. I'll admit it now. We knew the risk.
Not of Carol Raskin, we didn't. We still don't know what the risk
Baskin.
is.
Baskin, fine.
Oh, man.
$2.
That's just
Have
a
you
small
considered
one.
just like stop using names?
Just in
are you-
general?
Yeah. Are you at that point? Like, because you say the quarterback for the Bears, everyone knows what you're talking about. So,
It's gotten that bad?
I mean, Tony and Wilbon know this trick. My favorite part of, like, I don't really watch PTI all that much anymore, but I think sometimes Tony throws out the device of the kid in Buffalo. And Wilbon just kind of nods along because I also don't think he knows the name of Josh Allen right at the top of his head.
And then
you know?
the next 5 seconds later, he'll say it, and it's like a producer clearly just said it in his ear.
You guys want to work on that? You want to help me there?
No, this is fun. This was fun.
Now you've gone too far.
What I'm saying is, you have very little track record recently of being right on these names, so buy yourself some time. Just say the kid in Buffalo, and I'll pipe in
the old murderous woman. The old murderous woman.
Yeah, I'll
Carol Raskin.
I'll help you out.
So
I said chop and sate earlier. It's cop and sate. Man, I wish I
So
had
you think
a
I should
producer
just
in
go
my ear.
fish for it? I should just toss out to you. Okay, that's a better way to do it. I'm clearly not disguising it very well. So if I'm
We're trying to help you out.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I guess. But can you
Do
help me
things
on
like
the front end?
The big arm in Kansas City. Oh, what a good quarterback.
Yep.
And I'll feed you. That's Patrick Mahomes.
And you want to do it that way?
Yeah.
The kid, the big arm. Yes.
Yeah. Go with haircut. The haircut in Kansas City. What's his name?
I don't think that's a good way to do this. But help me here.
Haircut with the Chargers.
With how some of this stuff ages, Stugotz, because I am watching, right? I've gotten caught here in a YouTube algorithm that's just giving me a whole bunch of, Gary Shandling and Jerry Seinfeld and David Letterman, where I just get.
Ooh, you're with the times.
No, well, this is.
Do you get the thing where it's like half the screen is a comedian and the bottom half is like
Remembers
a
those
car
names.
going down like a video game thing? Do you guys get these things?
Dan's the only person that gets literal reels when he goes on IG. Like they just deliver him things on a reel.
I'm always watching a car just going down some ramp.
Is that a game that you can play that they're like overlaying over the video?
It must keep our attention more because I watch them. Yeah. I'm like, I'm listening to this fun content, and I got to see if this car makes it to the bottom.
How's this car gonna make it over this gap? It's sideways.
I also like the one where it's like 10 miles an hour, car going into a wall. Here's 30 miles an hour, and you get to see the AI of what cars look like smashing into walls.
I don't know if they're a sponsor, but the Ford Bronco seems very unsafe.
Yeah, it does. Back to your comedy, though.
So
we
does,
like Jeeps here.
It also feels unsafe to say that without knowing
Or anything
whether
from
they're
Bill
a
Seidel.
sponsor.
I think we're safe.
We love the sponsors.
Shane Gillis is now all over to be more modern, slightly more modern
There you go.
than the group that I'm getting.
Ed Morse, of course.
But within that, something happened last night because, Stugotz, all of this is changing. Late night is gone. It exists as social media clips. It doesn't even matter anymore to the younger generation that Colbert and Letterman were on together. We'll consume it in clips. We won't tune in. We won't do it the way we've done it. Joe Rogan is the new Johnny Carson. He's the new Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live only has half his reach. He makes comedians now, more than Saturday Night Live does. Saturday Night Live, very diverse now. Comedy, gone. Joe Rogan is the kingmaker now. He's the one who will make Shane Gillis millions. Shane Gillis exists as an entity now in the new marketplace, Stugotz, and he's taking a new lane because this guy's dangerous. There aren't many dangerous going
Taking
right
notes,
now.
diverse means not funny. That's the way that you said it. I'm not correcting you. You're cooking.
Shane Gillis is getting hugely popular, and he's funny at least in part
Great guy.
because he looks just like Chris Cody.
I mean, he's aiming for me. Target hit.
He's got you. He's got you, and there's so many like you.
Thank you, I think.
And he's doing it all himself, and it's got smart elements like the Louis C.K., Stugotz, and Chris Rock sort of changed some of this, where they made you think about some of this stuff really seriously, and now all of a sudden comedians are like, "Oh, not that seriously. Don't take me that seriously." And he's found, Shane Gillis has found a reach through this podcast spreading sphere where comedians have found the safe spaces for themselves where they're not going to get canceled because they're making their own rules in a new economy away from late night next to Joe Rogan. They are dominating the podcast.
I'm not going to
sphere.
use the word grift because I know that's coded, but there is a wide lane here for stand-up comedians in this era to go into the warm bosom of the disenfranchised white man. I'm not saying this in an insulting way. It's almost better for you to be too hot for the left, and I'm a men's right activist. And like that's really where a lot of money is for a lot of these dudes making big-time specials now.
independently too, because he's a powerhouse on his own, and he invented it himself after he was too hot for Saturday Night Live.